Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Trade the Chain. It is Tuesday, September 13th. I have to stop saying the days. Last year, I'd forget them all the time. And if you are watching us, God bless you for still being around after the fireworks this morning, because I know a lot of people who probably need some naps at this point. It was a hang on to your handlebars kind of moment. We're going to go into that. 8:30 this morning, CPI numbers came out, and it looked like crypto was a bunch of lemmings jumping off the side of a cliff. It was almost impressive to watch. I'm joined today by Doug, the Everyday Guy DeRosa, and Director of Research Nick Mancini, who's wearing a colorful blue shirt today. I think he went shopping.
No, it's because I'm wearing blue socks. So I was like, I need to.
You're matching.
Yeah.
You know,
I got my blue Sharks socks on today. So
you know we work distributed, so we're remote, right? There's no one else to see our outfits.
I mean, I literally wear Lululemon and like workout gear during the day. Like it's adult pajamas is literally what it is.
I love it. I've worn the worst clothes for like 2.5 years now of COVID, and it's so awesome. Like shirts that just have holes.
When COVID first hit, like I put all my nice clothes in like the back of the closet. I was like, I'm not gonna get all these worn down in the wash and stuff. That was actually like one of my highest rated tweets, I think, back in 2020 was like, does anybody actually wear their nice clothes right now?
No, it's ridiculous. All right, folks, let's just jump into the macro real quick before we head over to Nick. Here's what that's Nick's chart. Here's what we're looking at today. Unbelievably, in my opinion, we're still just over $1 trillion in total market cap, even with that huge downward velocity of Ethereum and Bitcoin and dragging others with it. We have neutralized at a 51 over 100 daily sentiment in the overall market. Bitcoin standing now around 20,774. Our trading volume has been huge. Nick's going to touch on that as well. We're almost to 100 billion in trading volume, and that's actually quite a big leap. And to give you some comparison, Nick's going to benchmark that against some past dates, really to impress you folks. So let's, there's a lot of stats about to come out. Anyway, as we go down to the hottest on Twitter, you got Shiba Inu, the coin that never dies, coming in second. You have Loom, who we spoke about yesterday. They're rounding out number 5. Golem taking the end in 8th spot. We have the most bullish coins, Sheep, again, in number 2. Now, I don't know. Nick, you buying Shiba Inu these days or what?
No, the meme coins are not for, like, if you're not trading them in accordance with like the recent Luna and like all that, then that's fundamentals are what you want to buy. Else you're just trading the shit coins.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's also very hard to discuss the rapid rise in price on Luna Classic too, without feeling slightly embarrassed that you're mentioning it. We have Raven Coin finishing out the top 5 most bullish coins in daily sentiment. Bearish, we got Dent leading the way, Neo third, QKC, have no idea who the heck they are, rounding out the 5th spot. Looking over at the coin screener page, I mean, everything is stabilized now from our downward trajectory for the moment, but those CPI numbers really did us in. We got mixed green red for the 1 hour, a lot more red for the 24 hour. And you can see that sentiment on most of the top 12 is standing out neutral for the hour and the daily. So with that being said, we'll head over to Nick. I will say that after Nick does his dive as well, we're going to we'll discuss some things on Voyager real quick. There's been some breaking as it happens kind of news on some court stuff, as well as we'll take a dig at Celsius, because I feel it's time to take a dig at Celsius at this point. So I know, don't look shocked, Doug. Don't look shocked. Nick, take us away, buddy.
Yes, sir. So where we're going to start on the charts is just, I think Alex mentioned volume just now. And I think this is just fascinating because if you actually just kind of line this up, you can draw trends on volume. It's not an exact science, but looking at this volume increase is quite shocking. If you, we're going to zoom back a little bit, but this is the 6th of September. This 7-day span is the highest Bitcoin's volume has been in its entire history. And I'm just going to zoom out, so bear with me. We're going to go quite far back in history here. And if you look at, this was the March drop. So we didn't even, the highest candle on that one day just met. We've done 3 or 4 days in the past 4 to 8 weeks of that volume. Even on the big dip of 19th of May, these are single day candles as well, volume candles. And we've done that consistently throughout September, August, and most of July, which is absolutely fascinating. So I don't have an exact read on what this means. It could be, a lot of holders from previous times kind of emptying some loads on the market. It could be the massive amount of turnover because of where we're at historically, the highs of the previous run and due to the proliferation of trading. But I figured, this is a fantastic kind of metric to continue to discuss, because obviously if volume is sustained on a continued drop in price action, then I would not expect prices to remain this low for too long. I mean, this looks like a typical consolidation pattern, to where you would hope that it just kind of bobs and weaves around here for quite some time and moves higher. So I think that narrative is certainly in play, rather than, okay, we're just going to drop straight down like we did in the spring. So could we still drop straight down? Certainly. But does it seem likely right now? Not exactly, unless this volume magically disappears, which I don't expect it to immediately, especially considering we're heading into Q4, which is typically a heavy trading month. You have to remember, this is the summer trading months, right? I mean, this is supposed to be low volume. This is supposed to be low volatility. It was quite the opposite. So, well, we definitely had some breaks involved. But, the narrative of everybody's going to go and have a vacation, well, it doesn't seem to be the case in crypto, which I think is a good thing long-term for the market. Now, where we're at from a day-to-day perspective is these are obviously the highs of the deviation. These are the lows that we met in June. And I'll kind of just extend this out. This is basically the range that I would hope for us to trade in, unless Jerome Powell literally just knocks the market out with 100 basis point hike and saying that he's ready to do more 75 and 100 point basis hikes. I think that's kind of the only way that we drop down lower. But obviously today was due to the CPI numbers. And if you were listening to us, we were definitely a little bit more bullish than we should have been. In the grand scheme of things, inflation is definitely topping. But the big issue here is that, CPI, although is lower this month than the previous month, core CPI is higher than the previous month. And that seems to be where the market is really taking a hit from. The other big metric is that services inflation rose pretty high month over month, which is a big issue because services are less likely to come back down. I think Doug has talked about this before. If you're paying $20 for a haircut, $30 for a haircut, never in your life have you ever gone back into your haircut place and paid less for a haircut. Now you can extrapolate that to other services, and that's typically going to be what happens. Energy prices can go down, commodities can go down, which can help with other things, and potentially, a larger supply for consumer goods can help, decrease prices if demand stays. We know our basic economics, but services typically stay the same. So that's sticky inflation. I think that's going to shock the market. Also, we have to think that Biden has dropped the U.S. petroleum reserves by about 1/3 so far. He just announced today they're going to start buying oil again at $80 a barrel. That just shot the oil price back up. So eventually Biden's going to, we can't keep decreasing the reserves. And oil is probably not going to stay this low forever. So looking into Q4, there might be some more energy volatility as well, which could impact what's going on. Also, the market's now pricing in 20% likelihood of 100 point basis hike next week, and pretty much a full 100%, or basically 80%, predicting that 75 basis points is going to be the number. There is no more talk of 50. So hawkishness is back on the menu, and that is obviously why we saw such a large dip in the S&P 500. Now, I drew this fib chart because this just gives you your basic levels for where you would expect a recovery if this is the local bottom. So I think a really good, a really good attempt in the short term this week would be, 40.50. If we can flip 40.50, now we can start talking about recent highs again. But obviously, the market has to continue to digest the likelihood of more hawkishness from the Fed, as well as how is this inflation going to impact the market moving forward. So, if you're expecting some sort of recovery on the S&P 500, and this is, over the next 24 to 48 hours, because we're going to be talking again tomorrow, then you would hopefully expect some sort of reprieve for Bitcoin at this level as well. If you noticed on the previous chart, I'm on the 4 hours, so let me switch this. This is just interesting in terms of how similar Bitcoin and the S&P 500 are interacting. This blue line is the 200-day moving average on the 1 hour. We're currently trading under it, but we're trading on top of a POC, and we're kind of trading in between that. So still decent support consolidation there. Bitcoin is trading on top of the 100-day POC, oversold RSI. And if we kind of just do the same little magic with the fib chart, then you would expect hopefully 21.7 to kind of be the next target. Typically, Bitcoin will move a little bit more volatile than equities. So equities will be lucky to hit the 0.382 fib. You would hope Bitcoin hits the 0.5 fib. So if you're longing here, 21.6, 21.7, very reasonable target. Obviously, if we continue to break lower, 20K magic number, 19.8 for strong support. And then obviously we have these lows again around 18.6, 18.7. Now for the merge, let's just do our quick Google tracker. And I tweeted this earlier today. We talked about this yesterday. The dancing bears, clearly an omen from Google. They were warning us, and we maybe should have listened a little bit more than being overzealous. But we did say that Bitcoin was going to be stronger than ETH, and that was still the case. For ETH short-term price action, this is more or less support. We have this POC down here at 1560 that should hopefully be strong. Ethereum obviously, attacked higher much more quicker than Bitcoin. ETH BTC gained a lot of strength today, 1.7%. If we do our little Fibonacci magic, then the bulls are hoping that ETH tags 1660, 1670 expeditiously. And I would expect the bulls to really try and probably push ETH back up to 1700, 1720 before another cascade pre-merge. That's definitely a little overzealous, but plausible. If we break lower, 1560, 1525, and then, the lows between, under 1500 and those mid 1400s. Now, I would probably expect this area to be tagged post-merge. I would expect some more volatility in this range going into the merge, but again, merge is only a day and 10 hours away. So eventually the market's going to de-risk and start to become volatile in relation to that trade. So, I would get in and out of your Ethereum trades quickly, unless you really feel a certain type of way going into the merge at these price levels. So
yeah. I want to interrupt you real quick, Nick, because this is a lot of questions being thrown around. People sliding into my DMs with this, and I know that you and I, there's been so much action happening in the last 12 hours. Really haven't had a chance to discuss. But as we go into the merge with the dancing bears, are we? We had this bad CPI print, a sharp decline price, right? Some people took it as an opportunity, and I'm not meaning the short sellers. I mean the cost, the cost basis players for the longs. Is now, in your opinion, the time to start thinking about long into the merge as the time decay on that timer starts counting down even closer?
If you believe that there is still one final trade going into the merge, now is the time to trade it. But we're already at one level of where you would expect ETH to go based on the fib chart, which is why I love the fib charts, because this is, before, we were looking at S&P and Bitcoin, it hadn't hit the targets yet. Ethereum hit the first target to perfection. And this is typically how fib charts go. So if this gets a clean break, then you're at 1640. You would expect a ping pong back to 1620. Then you would expect, you're basically kind of hoping this thing just ping pongs higher and higher. And these are kind of the levels that you would trade in and out of. For the Ethereum merge, I was expecting one more boost after CPI, and then we would crash, consolidate, and wait for the merge. Considering all that happened so quick, and we still have about 36 hours to go, 30 hours to go, I would say that along into tomorrow morning is probably a decent bet, but one I'm not going to take because, I mean, I don't want to sit on it. I mean, if you're going to trade this trade, you want to be, you're probably looking at the computer the whole time, and that's not how I want to trade,
I wouldn't
especially
go to
after CPI. So that, I mean, it's really that type of trade. Or you buy here, you set a tight stop at the lows, and then you F off and hope that it's going to hit tag 1750, 1770s, or 1700. So, I think there's a good opportunity here now. Am I taking it? No. If you are, I would actively monitor.
Yeah, that it seems like a lot of work. I mean, a lot of people believe that this would be a far easier trade, particularly the people who don't have a job in crypto and actually have to go do other things. But it's not turning out that way. It's being complicated by the U.S. economy and the data that's coming out. So it's a tough one. Doug, throw something in. I know you wanted to talk about a few things today, with in regards to and around the CPI and inflation.
Yeah, my question was for Nick in that, you look at earlier this week, the Dow was only 11% off of its all-time high. ETH was almost pushing 2,000, which puts us back to May, which is basically the Luna crash. And then BTC was about 50% off from that crash. So when you look at this volume of information since then, that's Voyager, Celsius, rate hikes, all this negative news, European situation, gas. Like when Powell talks about pain, the markets really aren't showing the pain. So are we way too optimistic here with where we're at with these price levels? Because again, none of these rate hikes haven't even taken effect yet. Now they're talking about, increasing fast food wages in California to $22. And who was it today? Hard Rock is raising wages. So the inflationary side certainly isn't going to slow down. Maybe the fuel, the oil, the gas side is, but like, are these price levels? What are we missing here, right? Is this the all-time screaming buy? That stuff is so strong, it's hanging in there? Or are we just so dumb right now? That's like, why are we holding on to this stuff? Like, is stuff going to puke so much lower because it's clear as mud that, and that begs a bigger question really to Alex afterward. What is pain? Like when Powell talks about pain, is that a depression? Is that a bear market for 4 years? Like no one's really answering these questions.
Yeah, so it was actually a question that I posed in the Daily Show kind of to myself, and something that I told, the audience that we would continually be actively monitoring and discussing, because about a week ago, around the same time last week, I kind of started to flip my narrative and have that solid think about why would we see lower lows, and the narrative was built on the federal funds rate topping, or at least being, in sight of topping, inflation topping, and probably less hawkishness from the Fed moving forward. And that seems to kind of disappear in a matter of minutes this morning, because although inflation is more or less topping, it's not abating, it's not coming off of the highs as quickly as we would like, which means that it could just consolidate, which is very worrisome, because if we're stuck at 8% inflation, then we're pretty screwed quickly, if you think about how that impacts the global economy. So I think the big worry now, especially in relation to the services side, which I mentioned, and you've talked about before, is if services are sticky and we're expecting energy prices to likely increase, then how much improvement actually occurred? And right now, that's what the market is saying is, and that's why the crystal ball is fuzzy, is because we have another question mark over what the federal fund, or what the increase in the federal funds rate is going to be next week, which means that 75 is now, I don't even know how to truly interpret 75 versus 100, because 75 previously I was like, okay, it'll be neutral to bearish or neutral to bullish, and 50 would be insanely bullish. Now I'm like, is 75 even bullish, or is that just extremely neutral and 100 is the bear case? So we have more information to digest. I think you are correct, Doug. I think at right now, well, at 9:30 in the morning, prices were way too high. Right now, they seem reasonable, but we still have more data to come in, and we're still waiting for hopefully that little birdie at the Fed to give us a little bit more information going into next week of what the federal funds rate will be. So I'm not expecting new highs, and that's why I think that those long trades are definitely a little bit overzealous in the short term, and why they need to be monitored so closely. Because I don't expect prices to immediately snap recover. I expect them to probably hover around here, form a range in the lower area of where we've been trading, and then figure out what's going to happen going into next week.
By the way, we're at the lows of the day. The Dow is down about 1,000 and the NASDAQ is down about 515. So there's been no rally at all today, which is not great news, obviously.
Didn't expect one, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Didn't expect one, particularly with the forthcoming prediction of rates. Now, to Nick's point, we did see the Fed come out, the news come out saying 75 basis points baked in for the what people are calling for the next Fed hike. I actually think it should be 100. I thought it should have been 100 back in June. I think we're going up 150 basis points by the end of the year to even this out at 5, and that's okay. Do we do it? It's whether do we do it in equal, more or less equal increments, or again, do we go back to ripping the Band-Aid off? I don't know. Maybe it's time. Maybe we just feel the pain. We just take it. Come the September meeting. I wouldn't mind the road to recovery to begin sooner than later, to be honest with you. And I think inflation, the more we drag out the rate hike recovery, system that they put in place, I think the worse it actually gets. There's a lot of time in between for things to move around. So,
well, there was a good chart. I don't have. I think it's in the Trade the Chain community. I shared 2 charts in the Trade the Chain community. Alex, if you want to share my screen really quick, this is one of them. This shows you basically inflation measured with the different parts of inflation over time. Energy decreased, food slightly increased, commodities decreased, but then services big jump. So that's the big worry here. And I think this is the market has to grapple with 2 things: the services, which if this increases, I mean, we're screwed in more ways than one. And then energy, because I don't think food is going to be. I think food will be solved, not quickly. It'll be solved into Q4. Commodities will be more or less, I think, fine. Services and energy pertains to, is Biden, can we keep ripping reserves? What's going to happen with our oil partners? And then, of course, I think it is hurricane season now, so potential for a disaster or 2, or potentially a supply crunch or 2. And then, services, look at the historical decrease in services inflation. That's just the decrease in general inflation. So services have never, ever, ever gone down. They just go up. So, if you're paying $5 more for a haircut per year, that's not sustainable for anyone. Eventually, there'll probably be a snap, but that's what you're looking at. And I say haircut, but I mean, think across all services. Anytime you go and pay someone to do something for you that you can't do yourself, you do that, you pay for that a lot. Even though you don't realize it as much in the grand scheme of things, because food and energy are probably where most of your purchases are, but a lot of services you pay for.
Yep, my electricity is up about 25% over the last 3 months. So
yeah, but you keep your AC so cold. You keep your AC on like 64 or something. It's insane.
Yeah, I'm 20 degrees Celsius throughout the house. I'm 18 degrees Celsius in the bedroom, which is about 64, 65 degrees.
Can you guys tell he has a place in the UK because he's talking Celsius?
We talk Celsius in the Caribbean. Actually, we pay for our gas in liters down here. So, yeah, we have European license plates.
Really? I did not know that. I never noticed any of that.
Yeah.
That's probably because every time I was on the island, I was inebriated.
Well, that's why I keep the bedroom so cold, because I'm so That's a
Drunk
different
sweats.
show, folks. That's a different show. Okay. I want to go over to I want to go over to Voyager and then Celsius now. So here we got it, folks. Here's we're talking about Voyager big day today. The 13th, 10 a.m. was the auction. This is what the sentiment looks like currently for the 1 day. We're down. Price is down. We've, as most of you have probably seen, are the overnight Asia desks just gobbling this up, driving volume and price. Yesterday was particularly low. It's like they took a day off. And yes, feel good green. Yes, feel good green. That is correct. Here it is. The afternoon meeting was canceled. Now, the thing is, I don't know what the afternoon meeting exactly was for. Okay. If it was was the auction supposed to be a winner selected and it was supposed to go to the 2 p.m.? Is the 2 p.m. for something else? I'm not sure. Maybe this is good news that it was canceled. Maybe it's because there's a bunch of commotion running between the bidders. Maybe CZ and SBF got into a fist fight in the courtroom throwing money at this. I don't know. I'm sure more news will come out. But yes, the afternoon omnibus hearing was canceled today. But the auction did go off at 10 a.m. As it should. There's also some other news in the market as well, which is I'm sure a lot of people saw. You had a number of well-established TradFi firms with the news they're launching an exchange. Now, I don't want to jump to conclusions. This could be a couple different things because they've also been Lucas, when I think violent men who throw punches, I think CZ, SPF. These TradFi firms that have collectively started going to start an exchange. This doesn't mean necessarily anything bad, I don't think. I can't run to conclusions. Their names have been, or most of them, have been thrown around, rumored to be bidding in the Voyager proxy here. Just because they're starting an exchange doesn't mean that acquisitions to accelerate their growth to market or entry to market are out of the way. That news doesn't mean that they're gone. They could still be in that room dealing with this. So I don't want to start any conspiracy theories, but I do think that movement forward is going on. I'm excited to hear the first public news about this. I forget who did a poll on Twitter today. I don't know if it was maybe it was DJ Crypto. Who was going to be the winning bidder? Was it going to be a big TradFi bank? Was it going to be Binance? Was it going to be FTX? Or was it going to be a group that no one has heard from? I couldn't venture to guess. Doug, do you want to throw a guess at that?
My question to you is, don't you think the timing of that press release was unusual, of that EDX markets? Yeah. Now, again, not being a conspiracy theorist, but just interesting timing. Yeah.
You bring up a good point. This morning, first thing was the article on, I believe it was Schwab. I believe it was Fidelity.
Schwab, Fidelity, and Citadel are the
and Citadel. Yeah. Now, I'll tell you, in a million years, I was having a conversation with someone who worked at Citadel out on my lanai drinking a glass of wine the other evening. And we were talking about Ken Griffin. And I was like, there's no way in hell that guy wants anything to do with the crypto broker. I'm obviously wrong. So, if you get somebody like Ken Griffith in there, to part of a group acquiring Voyager, that would be tremendous. I mean,
that's ideal. That's ideal order flow, right? I mean, they'll trade against that, just like Robinhood. I think 50% of Robinhood's last quarter revenues was, basically selling that crypto order flow away. So that's what Citadel wants, right? They want retail exchange.
You know what it would be? It would literally be, you'd have the powers of Binance. I'm sorry. You'd have the powers of Fidelity and the powers of Schwab for retail, right? So, if that was the case, and guys, we're speculating here. I don't want no rumors to be started, But if that was the group and you had Schwab and Fidelity running the retail side of it, the front end of Voyager's brokerage platform, right? Only in a more adult way, let's call it. And then you had Citadel. They turned that pay for order flow into like an ECN. I mean, it would be like a total different revenue garnering model built within it. It would be tremendous. That'd be hot. That'd be like the old night trading, on Wall Street.
Yeah, I mean, they would print money basically.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking on this topic, I mean, we just got the news yesterday that like Fidelity and other big, current brokerages and trading firms are looking to enter the crypto space in some way, shape, or form. Probably because FTX is eating everybody's lunch. They've perfected the model. We trade against everybody on our platform, and we have all the data of what's going on instantly, and we can lag everybody else. It's a pretty perfect business model. I mean, it actually is a perfect business model. You have all the data on your customers as they're doing things, and then they don't have the data, and you have all of the latency, and they have all of the lag. And so you literally can't lose unless you're stupid, and no one at FTX is stupid.
Well, and I mean, we saw the big downside to FTX this morning with the CPI number print. They froze and the exchange went down, which was interesting as well.
Yeah, and FTX or SBF's first reply starts with quote unquote heh. like not like heh. Oh, heh. Sorry, like something somebody would say if you like bumped into them on the street. Like it was absurd. I can't imagine how many people lost money on that move, because I mean it was $1,000 move in a minute.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then Vasek, he goes, "I'm still going with Robinhood." I mean, technically, wouldn't that be SBF doing a backdoor, way in? I mean, he has enough clout there because he owns enough of Robinhood at this point. I don't know. We're all guessing. Who knows? We're all waiting for someone official to release some sort of announcement, and I would like that sooner than later. All right, going on real quick. Want to take a look, talk about Celsius for a moment. Here's Celsius sentiment and price chart, but this comes out. Celsius CEO is mulling the crypto custody pivot after lending business imploded. I don't know. This is his way out, is trying to say we're going to try to be a BitGo competitor or, some other institutional custody competitor. I don't buy it, particularly after reading this article. Okay. More or less, from everything I've read, is that this is looking more and more like it was run as a Ponzi scheme this whole time. Some of these articles have investigated, including CoinDesk did a deep investigation into this not so long ago. And Mashinsky himself said the company was never profitable enough to pay the outstanding rewards that were going to customers monthly. That's Donish slipping into my DMs over there. So that being said, it sounds like they had to use external money at some point to keep these reoccurring rewards going. Another thing that doesn't quite look so good for Mr. Mashinsky and his wife, Chrissy, is the fact that apparently through wallet tracking, some clever detectives figured out that he has sold over $40 million worth of cell tokens in the last 2 years. So I guess this begs the question: was $40 million worth it? Because this thing doesn't sound like it's going to go anybody's way as it takes the long road through the bankruptcy proceedings. Liz, we can say all we want about Voyager, and I'm right there with you. But that was a risk management mistake. This process has been going on quickly. This one is an investigative nightmare into what could possibly be doing a lot of wrongdoing involved.
Well, they had a history with their CFO, right? He did some really bad dealings.
They had literally every scandal in the book. I mean, they had someone doing porn. They had a CFO, like a convicted CFO.
Did somebody doing porn?
I met her like way back in like 2016 or whatever, and when she was like the head of like lending or whatever, and then she got promoted to the trade desk, and lo and behold, she did an amateur porno that's pretty easy to find on the internet, and it comes back every year, like that news story. And then the CFO had a bunch of issues. Mashinsky, obviously, bad leadership. So I mean, they had every scandal in the book.
All right, guys, put in the comments if you want me to tell you what my OnlyFans account is.
I will say this. So Peter Schiff did call him out saying it was a Ponzi scheme. That was about a year ago.
Well, hold on.
I hate to give him any credit on anything, but he
Peter
did
Schiff
say those words.
Everybody out.
He was the first one to say that. So
he calls everybody out, and
he calls out. He's been calling for the market to collapse.
Well, if you say that every company is a Ponzi scheme,
it's
one of them's bound to be.
One of them's going to be a Ponzi.
It's like Nostradamus. Nostradamus made 1 million predictions. One comes true where the comet hit the volcano and everybody died, and they're like, "Holy crap, he knows everything."
I'm going to make a prediction right now. Alex is going to have a glass of wine tonight.
I'm going to say you're going to be right on that. I want to show everybody this. Folks, this is
that's funny.
This is Chrissy Mashinsky, the wife of Alex Mashinsky. This post is literally from September 7th, okay? 6 days ago. She is selling Unbankrupt Yourself t-shirts.
Did you see the Celsius Monopoly thing that made it to the Wall Street Journal?
Are you kidding me? Really?
They launched. Well, I think Celsius launched it. I didn't pay too much attention to it because it's one of those stories that it's like, why the F is the Wall Street Journal even writing about this? Like, it's the dumbest news story ever. But apparently Celsius launched their own monopoly called like Celsiusopoly. That was basically the game just to play on it, for crypto. And it somehow made the front cover of the not front cover, but
and what was Park Place? 3 AC?
What
was Park Place? 3 AC?
Oh yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it was one of those where it literally frustrated me that was the news that the Wall Street Journal was choosing to promote yesterday. It's just like I get the absurdity, but it's like save that for the New York Post or something like that. Like there's no reason that the place where I go to get good financial news needs to be ruined by some sort of. I mean, I don't know. I'm not even going to speculate on it.
I don't know. It seems better than this. It seems better than the scam of a company right here selling unbanked T-shirts or unbankrupt T-shirts from 6 days ago. I mean, this is so not in taste, man. This is horrible.
No, everything about that company is horrid.
Disgusting. Anyway, listen, folks, if anybody hears any news on what's going on with Voyager, please tweet at me. I definitely want to know, and I'll do the same back at you guys, because it's weird, it's closed doors, can't get any information. We're all dying for some. So we'll do that. Don't forget, sign up for the Trade Chain newsletter. It's absolutely free. A ton of good, actionable nuggets in there coming to you every day with the Monday deep dive and Thursday coins on the move. It's Tuesday, so tomorrow's our members only AMA. And don't forget our weekly Twitter Spaces on Thursday. This week we got Avalanche Ava Labs. It's going to be huge. Okay. Join us. We moved it up. We moved it up from our 4:30 Eastern time to 2:30 Eastern time to accommodate Avalanche's team schedule. So 2:30 Eastern time Thursday, we have Avalanche Ava Labs on Twitter Spaces. Going to be big. If you got any questions, you come. Let's see what else.
We're at the lows of the day, by the way, in BTC. 20,005 was just hit. Looks like.
Yeah, we just dipped under 25. I'm watching the ticker tape right now. It's pretty.
And the Dow is
insane.
Down.
Oh yeah, we're taking
finances. If you want to pull up my screen right now, we can watch the ticker tape as we close out. Some fascinating stuff going on right now. you can see who's. I mean, it's pretty coordinated selling across the board. Holy shit! I'm just trying to piece together any sort of narrative here because it's just a sea of red. Coinbase bought that dip heavy at 20.6 and then has seemingly sold it off. Nobody's buying. Well, now we're seeing some aggregate buying. Binance is finally buying a little bit more. Bitfinex, FTX has not bought anything. Well, actually, they bought that dip and seem to be selling off that dip. And now price is back under 20.5 again. Nobody's really buying.
Hold on a second. I have a much more easy to understand chart for folks.
I like his system. That's cool. Jeez.
It's called the Big Dip. Okay,
just one line.
Big red dip.
It's just like at some point, this is going to reverse. And I have a feeling that the market makers are just like sending absolute max pain right now. Because I mean, we're not clearly like if the hourly is that oversold, historically, every time that happens, we have a pretty strong rally. Now whether and strength, so the last dip that we had in late August was, I think it was about the same percent. It was, and it ended up leading us to new lows. But the first dip was 5%. And the current S&P dip right now that we're sitting at is 5% will be 39.50. And then it rallied. After that, it rallied how much? It rallied a solid 1.5%. So 1.5% from 39.50, if history is to repeat itself, would put us back at 40, about up just above 4K on the S&P 500. So I mean, eventually, some sort of bottom buying is going to occur. And the fact that we're this oversold in the 15-minute, the fact that we're this oversold on the 1 hour, it's going to happen sooner rather than later. We're not going to be down only forever. So,
Nick, question from Eric M in the chats: isn't 21K the line in the sand?
No. I'm not sure who told you that, but I mean, psychologically, it's definitely a significant number. But I don't think there's any line. The only line in the sand as it stands right now is the lows and the highs of recent time, which is, I'm zooming out. Sorry, I need to get these exact prices. The line in the sand for bulls is 24K. The line in the sand for bears is 17.6K. Anything in between that, we're just ranging, which isn't bad at all. If we're consolidating between 17 and 24, I'm happy. I'm very happy. Because markets have to flatten before they rise again, and a fat $7,000 range still presents fantastic trading opportunities within. So if that is the current case, then I am satisfied. Although I can also be disappointed in inflation and what that may mean moving forward, because we will have to consider what the strength of the lows again, unfortunately, at some point in time. But I don't think we're at 20.4. Wow. So eventually this is gonna rise again, but I guess
just not now.
It's just not now. I'm actually shocked at this much pain, because
I mean the 1 hour chart is candle is absolutely staggering right now. I wasn't expecting that.
I mean, I'm actually very much shocked at this price action. It's
we just blew through 24. So, folks, hit like and subscribe, please, on your way out the door. We will see you tomorrow. Hang on to your handlebars more now than ever. We'll go through this journey together for sure, and we'll try to give you the most relevant news to how to navigate this. So, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you all again tomorrow. And don't forget to catch Nick on the Daily Show. Best 15 minutes of info you can digest. So take it easy, guys. Thank you very much.